Joined with another video review. And thanks to my friend TJ Duckett, who I want you guys to check out. I'm going to put a link down in the description. If you guys like the quality of my videos, he does outstanding work on his own, especially in the world of doing photo reviews. His pictures are basically unmatched in terms of the quality. I absolutely love the way that they look. So I'm going to put a couple links on there. I want you guys to check him out. But thanks to him, I was actually able to get this figure. He found it at his local Toys R Us because it is, as you can see here, a Toys R Us exclusive, at least here in the United States. And he was kind enough to pick this up for me and send it out, and I just got it. And as you can see, we're looking at Masterpiece Thundercracker. Now, this is the first mold, or version of this mold that I've gotten. This is the new Starscream 2.0 mold. The original release was the MP11, which was Starscream. I haven't picked that up yet, but I'm going to do a comparison between this one and the original molded Starscream figure, so you can kind of see some of the differences. As you can see, as I mentioned, a Toys R Us exclusive, at least here in the United States. Other places, I'm not entirely sure where their stores are going to be, or where they're going to be in stores. As you can see, it does include a display stand. Very nice packaging. It does have an advanced transformation because it's a masterpiece. Flip around here on the side, you got a nice picture of them. Flip around here on the back, you got a nice kind of bio, and you got my face right there. Hi guys, and I just got out of the shower, so my hair is messy. And it says, Thundercracker looks down on those who cannot fly with sneering disdain, often going out of his way to attack creatures that cannot fly, just to prove his superiority. It was that attitude that led him to being recruited into the original Seeker Squadron along Starscream and Skywarp. Though his loyalty to the Decepticon cause is less than total, the fact that he is allowed to indulge his impulse to assault those he considers inferior keeps him flying for Megatron. So really, he's kind of a bully. He's a Decepticon bully, basically. Highly articulated and posable, robot mode, amazing detail. That's a selling factor. Amazing detail. Okay, I flip around here on the side, coming up to the top, you see he has two different heads, well, really two different faces, hidden missile pods, an opening canopy, adjustable thrust vector, a swing open nose cone, and includes a display stand. And down here we see his tech specs: strength of 7, speed of 9, obviously, courage of 5, rank of 5, and you can learn more at Transformers.com. Overall, I really love the way that this guy's looking. The color on here is absolutely fantastic. And again, if you check out TJ Duckett's pictures, it's probably going to capture the look of this a whole lot better than my video review is going to do. So without a doubt, guys, check out his stuff. And when you're done with that, come on back. We'll get him open, and we'll see how cool he actually is. Okay guys, so here we have the new Hasbro Masterpiece Thundercracker opened up and out of its packaging. And honestly, it has been some time since I've been really excited for a Masterpiece figure. And this one, I honestly wasn't even going to pick up because I'm not much of a Seeker collector. I mean, I have all the classic Seekers and things like that, but I mean, it's nothing that's really flipped me out over the years. And I know a lot of people love them, and I just never really got into them. But this guy is absolutely beautiful. Now, the colors on him, I mean, as you can see, are quite striking. I love the blue on here, and honestly, this is the first time that I've ever reviewed something that I'm not 100% sure how well the color is going to come across on my camera. So again, I'm going to point you guys to TJ Duckett's list of pictures and his video review because I want you to check that out. His photography skills are phenomenal and really grabs the richness of this color. And again, a special thanks to him for actually finding it at his local Toys R Us and being able to send it out to me. Now, when it comes down to it, first off, he does come with his display stand. I'm going to set this off to the side. And taking a look at the stand, you can see that the stand is basically identical to what we got with Starscream. More specifically, the Hasbro version of Starscream, which is why I'm kind of using this. It's almost exactly the same, with the exception of, obviously, Thundercracker. This is a nice kind of reflective metallic purple, whereas this is just painted on there. But basically, exactly the same. Nothing different. I mean, it does have these missiles on here, which I'll show that off. Thundercracker comes with those as well, but you can see the stands, aside from maybe being a little bit lighter in color, and I'm not 100% sure if that's just because of age. Honestly, I don't think it is, to be totally honest, but you can see exactly the same with the exception of the Decepticon logo and obviously the name. Another little bit is, just like the Masterpiece Starscream, he comes with this little clip that can go on the underneath here of him, and you can actually clip on the small Megatron gun that came with Masterpiece Optimus Prime. So that little clip thing is still here on this version. And just like the Starscream version, you can actually clip it to the bottom side here of the display stand, so you don't lose that, although I did lose my Starscream one. And as you can see, just like the Starscream version, Thundercracker does come with a set of missiles that can clip on the underside of his wings, but you can see obviously the paint scheme is a whole lot more compatible with the Thundercracker version. I love the fact that the actual missiles are now white with kind of silver tips, and the fins are a silver paint, whereas the actual part that would look like it's connected to the underside of a jet is actually painted blue as well. I really do dig that. I mean, this isn't all that bad. I mean, obviously this matches with the underside of Starscream because his wings are white, so it works. It's just, again, I think the contrast between these is a whole lot nicer, and I know this is a little bit harder to see because white, you get the idea. So here, I'm holding it behind my hand. But I really do prefer the color on the Thundercracker version. It just looks a whole lot better. And by better, I probably mean more striking. Now coming to the figure itself, this thing is littered with absolutely wonderful little actual painted on details. As you can see, you got the nice little painted on logo right here, which looks wonderful in robot mode. One thing that's awesome is D24 is on here, which is the Japanese identification number for it, or for Thundercracker himself. And then when you zoom in here, printed on his arm, you have a little image of Reflector that's also on the opposite side as well that you can see. Now, if you come around here to the back, you have where it says Sonic Boom, and you have, well, either Starscream or Thundercracker holding Soundwave. And we all know that Masterpiece Soundwave is one of the new upcoming Masterpiece figures. So maybe this is a hint at something that we might be getting from Takara in the future, which would be absolutely awesome. We've gotten so many third-party Reflector figures. I would love an official one and see what actually Takara and Hasbro can put together. That would be wonderful. And then you come around here to the top, you can see in there, much like the Masterpiece Starscream, he does come with a little figure. Now, Starscream came with a Dr. Arkeville figure. This guy comes with a little hologram figure, and honestly, it kind of looks like the T-1000 to me. I mean, you can see it's a little fighter pilot dude, but I like that it's chrome because it really kind of gives a fake look to it and a nice kind of reflective nature to him, kind of, I don't want to say giving the illusion of a hologram, but really kind of goes towards that, you know, fake human flying thing. And as you can see, the canopy does open and that closes, and I just think that that looks really cool. He's got really nice Decepticon logos here, which are going the proper way, well, at least in robot mode. And on the Starscream one, they were upside down, so it really kind of looked weird. Oops. But at least this one looks good. Zooming back out, you can see that he does have his null rays underneath here, and if you wanted to take these off and put the missiles on, you could, but I really do prefer the null rays, so that's what stays there. I mean, that's what he had flying around, so that's what works for me. And then the nose cone, you can open this up, extend this out, and honestly, I have no clue what that's supposed to be. I don't know if that's supposed to be like a radar dish or something, or some kind of device, but I have no clue. But that just rotates back. Now, there's not a lot that you're going to see in terms of molded difference between this and the original Starscream mold. I mean, here's Starscream, and as you can see, like I said, the Decepticon logo on Starscream kind of upside down. When you look at things, though, it really does kind of look the same, and I'm going to take his landing gear and tuck these away just so you can see this a little bit better, and get in there. There we go. And that just obviously flips down. When you look at it from the side, you can see some difference, mostly because of the way that the legs are done. The legs on Thundercracker are completely different. So that's where you're going to see a lot of the differences. The other thing is that, if you recall, Starscream had these little bits that you could open these, and you had little thruster doodads in here, but that's all that those really were. They didn't do anything. That's just how they were. The new ones, what they actually did, or the new Thundercracker, what they actually did was redesign those with a purpose. When you lift that one, I guess I could just lift it like this. When you lift that, you can see that it's molded differently in here. That's because these now actually have a purpose. They actually transform out and create a more secure heel for the Thundercracker figure, something that Starscream was desperately in need of. That is a wonderful fix. Now, one other thing that this also has that the MP03 version had is this little slide out sort of thing. This is die cast, so you got some nice die cast there. Now, I've mentioned this a million times. I have no idea about anything when it comes to airplanes. My only guess is this is something that would slow the plane down. That's all I can really think of. And honestly, I don't even know how something like that would slow the plane down, to be totally honest. But I'm not an aeronautics person. I have no idea. If you want more information on that, I suggest asking Bolt Matrix, because he knows a lot about airplanes and things of that nature. So I do like that that is actually included on this mold. I think it's very cool. One thing that I have to talk about that absolutely annoys me, I'm going to put these away because we're going to start transforming this guy, but one thing that absolutely drives me nuts are these back things. These things come off very easily, and I'm happy that they do because they won't break, but when you're transforming it and stuff and it pops off, you're like, it really does kind of get frustrating after a while. We'll see if we can do it without popping them off, but to transform, come around to the bottom, go ahead and take these guns off. Now you can put those off to the side. If you really wanted to, you can actually kind of peg them in here where the actual arms are. If you didn't want to transform, create an extra step by taking these off and having to put them under the wings, but it really doesn't bug me all that much. Then come around here and I'm going to flip these up, just hopefully to kind of keep these out of the way. Now, go ahead and fold these guys down, just like so, and then you have to kind of wiggle this whole section. There are a whole bunch of tabs. It really tabs in very securely along here, so you just kind of have to wiggle it, and hopefully you don't break anything. There we go. Separate that, and then you're going to rotate this around just like so. Now there's another step on here that I'm going to have to show you, and you really do just kind of have to wiggle these tabs loose. There we go, just like so. Now, what you have on here is another brand new section of this actual figure. Go ahead and take your nail, if you have them, or long nails, and then fold this bit out, and you're going to actually see a little slot up here that you can rotate this up into, and it will stay there. Now, I didn't do that on this one, but there you have it. And then, like I said, you're going to rotate that. Now, we're not going to tab it in just yet, but that's going to keep these wings nice and secure up there. Come around to this arm section, and you're going to just fold these out just like so. Then take this section here, you separate this, rotate this down to this section here. It just swivels all the way around just like that. Then come around here to the back, take this, pop this little gizmo up and out just like so. Take this, fold this around. Now, the head is completely different. What you really need to do, kind of tuck these down for right now. The head has these little spring guys on the side, like little ears. You actually have to push those in and fit it through this section here. And if you get it right, the head will pop out. Now this little cavity section here is just big enough to fit this head, but you have to squish these in, otherwise it's not gonna work. So keep this, come on. So keeping this up like so, then come around here, take this, bend this down, take this section here, lift this. You can leave the pilot in there if you want. Rotate that back, bring that back down. Take this nose cone that you kind of separated, tuck that all the way through here. Bring this all the way down. You can then slide this torso bit down a little bit. There we go. Bring this up. Then this whole nose cone section actually slides in. You can see it kind of slides like so. Slide that in, bring that down, tab this on there, and then you can bring this whole section down. And these arms really kind of get in the way, and then make sure that everything is cleared here so it can slide all the way down. And that's about as low as it's going to go. Tuck these little side pieces in. Go ahead and separate these legs, pull them out, kind of give them a little wiggle. And this is a little tough. Pull them all the way out. Do that on this side as well. Pull it all the way out. Kind of straighten out these legs. Then take this entire section, and this is all brand new. I absolutely love this. Your best bet is to do it on this section. Just kind of slide that up and then put that back. Do that on this side as well. Just like so. Then fold that back. Now, usually what you would do here, rotate this, and then rotate this around. This is basically what you had for the MPO3. That's kind of what you had. These were his little heels, and it created a stability issue, and his whole torso came undone here. We'll get to that here in a second, because that's actually a fairly annoying problem. But it created like a stability issue, and it really wasn't all that secure. So now what they actually did, like I said, these legs are all new. So lift this section up like so. Then you fold this out and you actually create a heel, and then bring that down, and when you bring it down, that actually locks that into place. So that's not going to flip back or anything. Very, very cool. I absolutely love that. And now he has a very sturdy stance and has no problem standing whatsoever. And make sure that you have it fully extended so that he can actually stand perfectly straight. Coming up to the top, you're going to rotate these back around, and now you can tab these in. Just like so. Like I said, you pulled out the tab right there, and then it's going to slot right inside there. So do that on that side as well. Come around here to the arms. Now, if you want to, you can leave that flailed out like so, or you can keep it tucked in, whichever you really want. Rotate these around, rotate that out, kind of fold out his little hands and fingers. Do the same on this side. Rotate that around, rotate that down, fold out his little hands and his fingers. If you can get it, there we go, just like that. Then come around here to these guns, and then you just plug these in here. It's a little bit of a pain because when you want to push this in, it makes the bottom section pop out. So it is a bit of a pain in the butt, honestly, to get these to tab in there, but they're just little ball joints, so it's not too terribly bad. So there's one side. Do that on this side as well. There we go. And here you have Thundercracker in his very cool, very modern, and far superior robot mode. And it's in this form that we really see the big differences between this new mold and what we got previously with the MPO3 Starscream mold. Now, there are still some problems that I have with this. Mostly, a lot of it is in this chest area, but setting him off to the side, here we have the MPO3 Walmart version, because that's the G1 color correct version that I wanted. And you can see that there are a lot of differences. They're minor, well, except for one. As you can see, one of the biggest problems with Starscream was always these giant hip pieces that there was nothing you could do with him. You could actually kind of leave him still pegged down to his leg, but unless you actually had him hovering on a stand, there was no way that it could actually stand, because when you take these off, and like I was telling you, that now sticks down further. There's no way that he could stand on it unless you had him hovering. So you would just have to take him off to make him actually look good. And that was a big, ugly, huge problem. I absolutely hated that. But you can see that the legs are totally different, and I so dig that. Size-wise, they are roughly the same. You know, the other little bit that you're going to probably notice are the arms. The arms are newly molded as well. Well, at least from this section of the arm down. It's like they cut this entire outer section off. And one thing that I actually honestly never ever noticed was that these little tabs that I thought were new on Thundercracker, let me try and show you this. These little tab pieces that were here that plug into the back here, Starscream actually has those as well. I just never bothered to actually notice them because I really never played with Starscream that much. I mean, it was kind of like a blah sort of figure to me. But you can see one other big ugly thing is these giant things that would hang out here. Thundercracker does not have those. It's nice and clean there now, which just makes it look so much nicer. Now, one thing that is absolutely ridiculous, beyond ridiculous if you ask me, the instructions actually for Thundercracker are the instructions for Starscream, and you can see that and you can tell because it's got the whole hip kibble thing going on. Now, the other thing is when you open this up, and like the package actually said, he's got two heads. Well, it was really two faces, and right down here, it gives you the instructions on how to switch the robot's face. Except this figure actually does not have that feature. What you're supposed to do, lift this up, and you can see how he's got the other face that you just rotate. Thundercracker, you can't even lift this head all the way up. If you do, the head pops off. But you can see there's nothing underneath here that's resembling that. This guy does not have a second face. That being said, it is a really nice face, and like I said, I love the fact that they put these little ear things in here to really kind of differentiate them. But the package and the instructions both mislead you. There is not a second face, and I really, I hope that nobody breaks this trying to wedge this out thinking that it's actually in there, because it really isn't. So be very careful, guys. But that being said, I really love the way that this guy looks. Now, like I said, there are some minor problems that I do have. Now, starting things off with his articulation, his head is on a ball joint, so you get nice range of motion with that. But the arms here, it's a little bit loose. When you lift this up, you can see like this whole thing kind of just doesn't lock into anything. And the whole torso bit doesn't actually lock in. So it's kind of flimsy there, and that's really kind of unfortunate, and I'm not a big fan of that. But he does have the ratcheting joints here. They move in and out. He also rotates at the upper part of the bicep. He's got double jointed elbows. Fingers are individually articulated. You got a thumb here, well, just at this joint. The fingers, this one has it, and then these ones are combined like the Starscream figure, which is kind of weird. They also rotate. Nice range of motion there. He kind of sort of rotates at the waist. There's a joint there, but you can't really get at it, so you're not going to get much. And see, this is what I was meaning, like all this stuff, nothing stays down, so it's gonna be flimsy. Now these are on ball joints, so you can really kind of do what you want with them. It's kind of weird. I don't quite get that, but I'm not going to complain. The legs, they move forward, they move back, they move in and out. You got to watch out for these wings. They move in and out barely. That's as far out as I'm going to be able to get them to go for you. They rotate at the upper part of the thigh. He's got double jointed knees as well. And then the feet have a little bit of a pivot in them. Not much. I mean, and then these little things rotate around. This just kind of sits there. But overall, this figure is absolutely amazing. I love the way he looks. The new updated look to him really works and is just so much more clean. My biggest complaint is now that I have this guy, I really would like a Skywarp, because I was actually able to get my hands on the MP11, which is the Starscream mold of this. And now that I got Thundercracker, I mean, having Thundercracker, having Starscream, I really should get Skywarp. It would just make sense. So hopefully we won't have to wait many years to get that, but I really do dig the way that this guy looks. The plastic quality feels pretty good. I have no problem with that at all. And aside from my minor nitpicks about it staying together, kind of like in the torso, I mean, as long as you don't really like kind of play with it, it's not that big of a deal. So that's kind of a minor gripe to me, and I don't really knock off a lot of points with it. But this figure is absolutely a must-have. And zooming in here, we're going to take a look at the final little feature that I guess this has. He's got booby missiles right there. You lift them up, and he's got missiles in his chest. And yes, I call them booby missiles, so if that offends you, I apologize. And for the transformation back, like I said, you can choose to leave these in if you really want to, but I don't like them on his arm in vehicle mode, so I'm just going to go ahead and take them off just like that. Take the thumb, go ahead and tuck that down, and then bring the hand in. Bring this in like so, and then rotate this out. And then I usually will just like kind of lift that up just to kind of get it out of the way. Do the exact same on this hand. Tuck the hand in, fold the wrist in, rotate this out, and then rotate that up just like so. Come around here to the back section, untab this from him, just kind of loosen that up. Lift this whole chest assembly just like so. Slide out the cone that was tucked up underneath there. Rotate that out and bring that around just like that. Go ahead and tuck the head down and inside. Take this section here, lift this, fold this down. You got his little hollow pilot, fold that, bring that up, clip that into place just like so. Make sure the cone stays right there. I'm going to take these little sections here, fold these back, and that clips in there. Then bring this around, kind of lift this up just to get them out of the way. Rotate these around. And it's kind of a tricky thing, but there you go. Rotate those down and up and in. Bring them together. Come on, get out of the way. There we go. Bring them together. They'll just clip together like so. Then go ahead and rotate. You want to bring, like I said, leave these up. you want to rotate this around so that reflector is actually showing. Kind of get that out of the way if you need to see. So you have reflector showing, then bring them in just like that. And you have to lift a little bit to kind of get it over all the pegs. And then this section here kind of slots together, right like so. Do that on this side as well. Rotate that down, bring these in, line this bit up just like that. Make sure that's all the way in there. There we go. And pretty much you have the bottom section of him done. Go ahead and come up to these legs, straighten these out like so. So this is basically what you're looking at, and you'll notice that the actual knee joint kind of bends inward. If it's out, it really doesn't slide in very well, so you have to make sure that that's kind of bent on that angle. Go and lift these, fold these back, and then tuck these back down. Do that on both sides of the guy, just like that. Go ahead and you can take this, rotate this around, bring this up, that tabs into place. Do that over here as well. Tab just like so. Go and take these, slide these down on both sides of his legs. Make sure they're slid all the way down, otherwise you're going to have problems. And then give this a nice little push here to kind of get these to collapse all the way up, just like that. And then push them together. Push this section down as far as you can. Kind of make sure that that's all lined up nicely on the side. Then you're going to rotate these bits down and around. And this part's a little bit tricky. You gotta wedge that side in there, fold this down, and then you have to do some fancy lifting and stuff. And then you're gonna see this little tab piece. You have to make sure all these little bottom sections that are on the arm actually tab on the underside of the wings. It's not too hard, but there's a little lifting and pushing involved with it. And then you get it just like so. Do that on this side as well. Fold this down, kind of slot this in. Go and take this, fold that down like so. Then do that on this side as well, where you're lifting and kind of slotting everything in. There we go. There we go. Push it all in. Make sure that the nose cone is straight. Go ahead and fold these little flaps underneath out, just like so. I know, I say just like so a lot, but that's just my word. There we are. Thusly, we'll do it thusly. How about that? And then that doesn't seem, yeah, there we go. And then fold this down like that. Set this down. Go ahead and take these guns, peg these in on the bottom side like so. Then, oh, actually his one piece popped off, and that's one thing that kind of sucks. You really do have to watch these bits because they are very prone to pop off. And then put this on the underside here, and there we have Thundercracker back in his jet mode. Now, back in the G1 days, Thundercracker was really a very essential character in the overall series, where Starscream and Skywarp were, Thundercracker was. And that really probably is why there are so many Seeker fans that are out there. These jets got everywhere. They were all over the place. And Thundercracker was just a really kind of fun guy to have. As I said, I never was a really huge Seeker fan, but you don't have to be a Seeker fan to really enjoy this figure. As a masterpiece, I really think that this is the perfect version that we really could hope to get. They took the previous MPO3 mold, found the problems with it, and really, in my opinion, went ahead and fixed a lot of them. The jet mode looks fantastic, but honestly, this is probably the weakest of his different modes. Just the undercarriage on him is just a little bit, not as clean as the MPO3. That version still is superior when it comes to the jet mode, but that does not mean that this is a bad looking jet mode. The transformation is just about identical, but a little bit easier obviously because you don't got the giant hip panels. And because of that, it carries over and makes his robot mode look that much better. Now, because of this figure, I went out and I actually did buy the MP11, the Starscream figure. I wanted to get this one because it's the cheaper alternative. At a Toys R Us exclusive, it is pretty expensive, but still pretty cheap. Depending on roughly where you are in the United States, and tax and all that, this figure is like $69.99. Tax and all that included is probably going to bring him around about 75 bucks. So I wanted to go ahead and get this guy before I committed to spending almost $200 on the MP11. But this guy really did impress me enough to go out and get that Starscream figure. If you can only get one of the two, this is obviously the one that I would tell you to pick up, just because it's more budget friendly. But Transformer fans and Seeker fans in general are not going to stop when it comes to these guys. Thundercracker will be a must-have, just like Starscream. And as I mentioned earlier, I really hope that they take this exact same mold and give us a Skywarp, because it would be nice to have the 3 original Seekers. And even though, like I said, I'm not really much of a Seeker collector, and Masterpiece figures take up considerably more space than the classic figures, I have no problem getting the trio of these and displaying them absolutely proudly. But there you guys have it. There's my look at the Masterpiece Thundercracker, exclusive only to Toys R Us here in the United States. I hope you guys enjoyed, and until next time, this has been Optibotimus. I'll talk to you later.